Hi everyone, Simon from Horoma Studio. Today we're going to have a look at this really cool image done by Massimiliano Napoli, which was a submission for another of Fabio Pavolini competition that was organized during the COVID. So this one was another of the Mac competition, which I actually reviewed another image. So let's have a look at this one. Basically, overall, we can see it's a really nice image. There's like a lot of details, a lot of stuff happening. I think it's really cool. There are a couple of stuff I think that could be improved or at least like questioned. So the first thing is regarding the composition. I think this like frontal view is working really well. There's like, it's really simple, but it works pretty nicely because you have everything that is sort of centered around this sort of like machine here. And you can notice that having the extra windows here helps in having all these like cables that sort of direct your eye towards the middle, which is really, really nice. You also have like this guy here looking here, but I'll come back to that guy later on. And also in terms of like colors, you can see that this is like the brightest point that you have here, and it's sort of like have this dialogue with the second point that you have here, which is like, here you have like warm colors, here you have cold colors. It has like an interesting thing happening between these two. So I think in terms of overall composition, I think it is nice. There's one thing I'm not really sure about is like the guy you have here, because the issue I have is that there's a couple of things. Like if you look at the thing here, even though it's like low resolution, you have this thing called like this situation is critical, blah blah blah, and the thing is sort of like advocates that this is sort of like things are like on the brink of going like sideways. And here you have this like all the glass is broken, which sends a really weird signal, because here you have this guy looking extremely calmly at something that actually is kind of weird. So you have this sort of tension that I find, I'm not sure I buy it. And just in terms of composition again, I find the juxtaposition of all these elements a little bit too weird, because I don't know, it's in terms of balance, I find it slightly not working. Maybe it would have been more interesting to have this guy like maybe frantically like typing on the keyboard here and like looking at this thing because something weird is happening, or I don't know. There's like a discrepancy between this sort of feel that you have and the sort of calmness of the guy. But maybe if it's what you're after, then it's working properly. In terms of modeling, etc., I don't really think I need to go through a lot of details, because there's like a lot of small details that are super nice and that really help in building the narrative of this sort of like basically like a weird secret plant where you're sort of working from or whatever. So that's really nice. I think in terms of color, it's interesting, but I would have maybe slightly bumped up the saturation of what's happening in the middle in order to get like a better contrast, and maybe slightly changed and cooled the rest. So basically you would get like a slightly more visible tonal contrast between the warm and the cold, because at the moment it's quite desaturated, which is not necessarily a problem, but still I would think that it could be done slightly differently. I don't really know what to talk about beside that, because there's really like a lot of interesting details. I really like the fact that the light is coming in different ways. Like you have all the thing coming from the top here, that is really nice. And then this still in terms of what's the word? In terms of value, stays one of the brightest things. So you really have this dialogue in between these two. So this is really, I think, working really well. And then you have all additional highlights that sort of brings nice stuff. Oh, this is why it's not working. So yeah, overall, really, really nice image. Sorry, I don't think I have much else to say. So basically it would be more about like actually understanding, like I think the video is more about like explaining why it works and sort of like tips you can take with the color contrast and the sort of like things you can use to sort of build or like lead the people's eyes, or like the viewer's eyes, to what you're actually interested in, and how you can create then a dialogue with something that is sort of secondary by using light and having sort of like value contrast, so that these become the two main elements in the frame. This third element here was questionable, but overall it works really well. So congrats on that. That will be it. Thanks for everything, guys, and hopefully you'll get some submissions for next time, and I'll see you in the next Teardown. Cheers.